And so the game's set. James Mitchell challenges us. The bunny or our soul? That's fine. That's fine. But who does he bring to his team? 2, 3, 4, 5, 100? Are we to go it alone? We would. Absolutely, we would. We'll go to war. It doesn't matter how many enemies there are. It doesn't matter how many enemies. We will go to war if
Rosemary.
we are...
Look. Me and Jordan know that you're about to go to war against Jim's team or Sue and Allie, those undead creatures. And we're here to let you know that you have a team right here.
Do not mistake our warning for common courtesy, Firefly. We told you to stay away for a reason. This is not your fight.
This isn't my fight. This isn't my fight. Allie's been with me since the beginning. Allie was my friend. I was in the undead realm. You were there. You were there fighting for me. Now I'm here to fight for you.
Such fire. All right, so be it. This isn't what we want, but apparently it's how it has to be. But you two, promise us one thing. Once the bunny is returned to our side, back off.
What are you guys doing? You're not even doing that well.
Yo, right now you listening to The Cart, charisma, athleticism, and raw talent. And what you're really listening to is Total Nonstop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh yeah.
You're not even doing that well.
Welcome back, everybody, to Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans, featured right here on the Impact Lounge. This is Trent, my co-host, Kyle. Kyle, say hello to the people.
You're not even doing that well.
Heyo, Trent, we are back once again here on the Impact Lounge. And from what I understand, Trent, Basil will be joining us for the review in just a little bit. You invited him on.
This is a day that I've been dreading for the last week, ever since things popped off. You could say, as the kids like to say, popped off. Things popped off pretty heavily here, Kyle. I don't know what to really what to make of it. I'm in the middle here, stuck in the middle with both of you. It's going to be very interesting down the line later in the program here because I don't know, man. Things got a bit heated, a little more than I thought they'd get heated. But
yeah, you know,
we're
Trent, it's a matter of respect. You know, that's all. It's just a matter of respect. But you know what? It's necessary. Me and Basil. I was going to say Basil. Basil. Me and Basil. We need to get to know each other. We need to talk. Yeah, I like him. I do like him, and he is a necessary part of the table here with his contributions through his photography work at Impact. Like I said, there are things that we can mooch off of Basil. So I'm excited to talk to him. I am. There might be a few blows thrown. You know, might be a bit of a slugfest at first, but we'll work through it. We'll talk it out. I have faith in that, Trent.
You seem a little deceptive, Kyle. The way you're too calm about this. It wasn't this calm this whole week. You seem too calm the way you're approaching this. I'm worried. I'm worried.
No. You know what, Trent? It's because you know what? I thought about it, and I thought long and hard how I was mad at him for coming on here and disrespecting me. But in a way, Trent, you know what? He kind of earned my respect in that regard because that's my kind of guy. You know,
well, you are a New Yorker. You like things direct.
That's my kind of guy. That's a ball buster right there. How could I be mad at him for coming on here and doing that? You know.
Man, all right. Well,
I've had a bit of change of heart. I have, but there are things we need to go over. There's still a matter of respect. There's things we need to talk about. You know.
I'm not quite trusting this, Kyle. I'm not sure if you're being serious. I don't know. But all right, man. So, as we always do, Kyle, should we start off with the comments?
Let's get into it, Trent.
All right, man. We had a lot of comments this week. We even got to show up later than usual, but the Impact Drive turned out. Listenership doing great. We're back on track, Kyle. The people wanted to hear us again. They left comments. They interacted. It was nice to see it. So, all right.
me talk to you.
Comments from the loungers.
Let me talk to you.
Comments from the loungers.
Let me talk to you.
We're kicking off, Kyle, with Critical Sting. He says Eddie Edwards, Sammy Callahan, followed by Josh Alexander, Ace Austin, Rosemary. He says, sounds like a pretty good collection of signings and re-signings for the company this week. That's or signs and re-signings for a company that's supposedly going out of business. So that's I think it's a good point. I think it's a very good point. Great signings this week that were announced. I think only more to come too, man. It's gonna be interesting. That well, who else gets announced? Because a couple people that got let go, and there's you got Caleb Connolly left officially. I think KM. Kyle, did you? I think we were talking about this a little while ago. KM is
speculation, purely speculation. We don't know anything. Well, what we do here on Trent, what we do here on the podcast, Trent, we speculate. That's what we do. We speculate things. And KM put a tweet out that said, "I'm free," and a little picture attached. So we don't know.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
that's where that picture was from.
Yeah, so we don't know anything for sure, but purely speculation. KM could be gone. I would miss him, Trent. I do like KM, and I love KM and Fala. But if KM is gone, then what do we see with Fala Ba from here on out? Going to need a new direction for him, and he just signed a new deal.
Fala's on for a 2 or 3 year deal, man. So you're going to need something for Fala for sure. We'll see what happens, man. I'd be curious. But all right, what else we got? Whoopsie says, can you imagine Eli Drake in this main event scene? Now, we've been talking about that. Eli Drake being in the main event scene again is something we've been clamoring for. It's kind of, we've been puzzled why he hasn't been in, Kyle. He even put a photo up today, and the hashtag was Last Dance, one of the hashtags amongst the other hashtags on his photo for
more
Rebellion.
More speculation.
Yeah.
Eli Drake put up his little promo picture for Rebellion. It's Eli Drake on the Rebellion advertisement picture. And in one of his hashtags, he wrote Last Dance. And that caught me by surprise. That caught you by surprise, Trent. Now, we could just be some paranoid wrestling fans at the end of contract season. This happens. As wrestling fans, this happens. When the contracts go up, and, we get nervous about our favorite wrestlers. This is something we're used to. It's something we got to deal with as wrestling fans. Now, Trent, I hope that Eli Drake stays with Impact Wrestling. But like you said to me off air, Impact really hasn't been doing dick with Eli Drake. So if he's going to look at other options, you can't really blame the guy. And it pains me to say that because Eli Drake is my favorite wrestler in Impact Wrestling. Trent, this podcast is built on Eli Drake's sound bites. We love Eli Drake. We are Eli Drake marks. I'm going to be heartbroken if he leaves.
You're going to be screwed, Kyle. Your hard work is going to be gone.
My format's done. Dummy of the Week. What are we going to do with Dummy of the Week if Eli Drake's gone, huh? What are we going to do? And we're bringing back the top 5 in this episode. In that little intro jingle, you got Eli Drake's voice. If Eli Drake leaves Impact, we have to reshuffle the deck here on the podcast and create some new sound bites, new format, new segments, because Eli Drake will be gone, and this podcast is built on Eli Drake. So I hope that he doesn't go, Trent. I'm still, fingers crossed, hoping out that he signs another deal with Impact Wrestling. But if he doesn't, if he decides to go out and bet on himself, I don't blame the guy. But I will miss him, and it will break my heart
too. I'm going to tell you to start getting a little proactive, Kyle, and maybe start putting some new sound bites together now.
No.
Just in case he decides to take the dummy train out of Anthemville.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that Eli Drake stays with Impact Wrestling.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. All right. What else we got here? Hakeem Thornton says, did you hear about the recent news of Jeff Jarrett continuing to sue Anthem over some GFW tapes that have been deleted? This, to me, is one of the most hilarious stories of the last couple of weeks. Is basically he wanted the GFW tapes that were on a handshake deal, and Impact released on DVD through Shop Impact when he came back. And they said, no, we own them. And he sued them saying, no, I own them. There was no paperwork between any of them. Impact sold them, made a couple. I don't think anybody really bought those, but whatever money they made on them. And then when he wanted them back, they said, no, we deleted them. We're done. And they told him to go fuck himself. And now he wants them back, and he's suing them. And the joke of it is, how does he not have a master copy of any of this shit anywhere? It's a joke, Kyle. I'm convinced that somebody on a hard drive that's not plugged in somewhere has the master tapes, and they're just like, screw it. It'll sit here and rot for all we care. Maybe pop up years from now after Jared's gone.
Yeah,
but
you know,
joke.
We never bring up like Impact's lawsuits here on our podcast ever. We've never talked about it because this is an Impact Wrestling review show. We never talk about these things, but my God, Trent, if we could comment on this stuff at all, what a shit show. What a shit show.
This is Jared being a moron. If you, why would you not have a copy before you give it away? That's on him.
And now it's I believe it's being pushed to June of 2020 now, I believe is what I read.
Is it really?
Yeah, but you know what, Trent, that usually they're just waiting for people to settle out of court. That's what's going to happen. They're waiting for somebody to settle out of court. We'll see.
I don't see a settlement. I don't see anything coming out of this, but
we'll see where it goes.
We'll see, man. All right, here. So next comments here. We had a lot of comments about the great feud, the great war that's coming here, Kyle. The great war here on Total Nonstop Impact. A lot of people have chimed in on this. We have a lot of loyal listeners here who have chimed in on this, and they wanted to make it known. So a lot of people weren't too interested in the episode this week. They were interested in this freaking bloodbath that's going to be coming up here, Kyle. And we got to say, so James St. Patrick here says, Kyle, my man, started off the show with a pure rated R smack. Pure rated R smack about Basil Salt. I don't know what that means. Kyle went Jim Rome all over Basil. So many great topics this week, guys. First off, thanks to Kyle for the shout out and bringing back the integrity to the Impact Lounge. Jeez. Yikes. And I agree, Kyle. Basil had one job to do, and that was to fill in for you and know his darn role. These are my quick hits on the topics you guys talk about.
Smart man.
What's up?
Smart man. Wait, what?
Smart man. There's more. He's not done. He had some quick hits. He says, number 1, bring back KM. Number 2, Impact haters will always be Impact haters. Number 3, Trent needs to be on time for the show. Team Kyle, the main draw. No disrespect to Trent, the mini draw.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a Kyle love right there. But you know, Trent, all the stuff he said in the beginning, I have had a change of heart about Basil. I have. I can't lie. I didn't come on here throwing blows, Trent. I didn't. I've had a bit of a change of heart because, I mean, the guy's got balls. He's got balls coming on the show and throwing rocks at the king like that, you know? Throwing blows at me right off the bat. I've earned some respect for Basil.
Well, let's there's another comment in your favor then. If you're talking respect for Basil, you got me calling him Basil. Basil, you're still pronouncing it wrong.
Basil.
Anyway, Humble Beast says Kyle went Sugar Ray Leonard all over Basil Duran. I could hear Basil saying no mas in the background as Kyle verbally murdered Basil for talking smack. Rest in peace, Basil. 215 to 227, 2019. As always, both of you brought the fire for us Impact addicts. I'm loving the long programs between the wrestlers because even though it's with the same people, each match is different, and each time you can tell the chemistry between the wrestlers gets better and better. Impact is telling a good story in and out of the ring. It's like a soap opera for men. Trent, what's the 401 on Josh Alexander? I think I talked about this in the comment reply back. I'll quickly touch on the Josh Alexander thing. The guy's a star. You guys are ready. Be ready for an amazing addition to this roster. He's I know the guy personally. I considered him a buddy. He was an AEW guy for a long time, former AEW champion. I got to really work with him here. He's a great dude and just an amazing talent. So be ready about this. But man, Kyle, Humble Beast, he was really on your side here, man. He was one thing Humble Beast forgot to bring up though, Kyle. I mean, he really tore in the Basil here, but he didn't really remember about the agreement you made. You made a very big proclamation
what are you talking about?
To the Impact. Oh, did you forget?
Kylie.
Basil.
Look who I got to remind
Basil.
You. I got somebody to remind you about
we're just talking about you.
Hey, buddy.
You know what, man? This is the face-off we've been waiting for. Welcome, Basil, to the Impact.
Kylie.
Yes.
We have. We don't need the introductions. We have business to discuss.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
What's going on here, folks? I feel a little uncomfortable. Getting cornered.
Hey, I remember there was a certain bet that was made on this very podcast that I do listen to because I support my backstage bro.
That's me.
That's Trent. And I was told by you through this podcast, this very forum, that if Austin Aries did not show up to the Vegas tapings, what was going to happen? I need a little refresher on this part. My memory isn't the best. I watch a lot of wrestling. I have a full-time job. Trent, can you give me a little bit of a refresher here?
Well, Kyle, you just to remind Basil here, you made a big proclamation and said if Austin Aries doesn't show up to the Vegas tapings because he now lives there, and you're like, oh, he's definitely going to show up, that you would join Austin Aries in his vegan conquest and become a vegan. Is that still a thing? Basil, can you find out from Kyle if he's still going to do that?
Kylie.
This is fucked up. You know what, Basil? I bring you on the show. I bring you on the show, and I'm nice. I have a change of heart. I have a change of heart, and you come on here and you start ratting. You start ratting on me. You start bringing shit up.
I'm not ratting, sir. I'm just making sure that
I extend the hand. I extend the hand, and you spit in it. You spit in my hand. I extend the hand of friendship out to you, and you spit in my hand, Basil. That's what you did.
Kylie, I'm hurt.
Now, hold on a second here, folks. Let me make this clear.
Like there's a lot of hostility right now.
No. Because I've been blindsided. Clearly, I'm being conspired against. I feel like Julius Caesar. That's who I feel like. So you know what, folks? Let me make one thing clear, though. The Vegas tapings are not over, and I haven't read any spoilers. So even if you have read spoilers, and if there is a chance that Austin Aries doesn't show up, and we don't know, they still could play a promo video or a vignette in any episode. So
that would count.
Yes.
That would count.
So as of now,
I would allow a promo vignette to count.
So as of now, the bet is still active, but nothing is clear until the last episode of the Vegas tapings.
Here's an asterisk to the bet or the proclamation. What if one of the GWN clips they show during the Vegas tapings features Austin Aries? Does that count?
No.
That should count.
There's a difference between a promo, a vignette airing for a future show, but no, dude, they show like 86 clips of like the past during an Impact broadcast, especially on Twitch. Kyle? So that doesn't count.
You had Kyle. You had to be humbled here, man.
Well, let me just make it clear here. I take back all the nice stuff I said about you, Basil, because you come on my podcast.
Oh, thank God.
You do that to me. You got one on me now, Basil, but sleep with one eye open, motherfucker. Watch your back. Now we're back. Now we're back to where we were. Nothing has been fixed.
Kylie, you didn't even make it to the homecoming tapings. Why am I gonna think that you're gonna show up to Chicago?
Oh my God. Kyle, rebuttal here.
Let's move along with the podcast here. This isn't what we're here for. This is an Impact review. All right, let's move along here. All right.
Can't believe it.
All right,
Kyle, this is our show, Kyle. Don't look weak. You can't look weak on our show, man.
This motherfucker Basil comes on my show, and I give him this nice introduction, thinking that everything's gonna be cool. I extend the hand out to him, and he spits in my fucking hand. That's how you feel, Basil.
Why do you keep saying it's your show?
This is my show. This is my channel. The Impact Lounge is mine.
Wow.
You took over. Kyle, what about me?
I own Impact Wrestling.
No love for Trent?
I own Impact Wrestling as well. It's all mine. The world is mine. It's all mine.
Did you buy in during the Anthem takeover? Did you get yourself a 5% sliver?
That's right. That's right.
Kyle, it was me. Kyle's gonna be like, Kyle's gonna pull off the Dixie Carter face and be like, "It was me.
That's right.
It was me all along."
Like when MVP was the secret investor.
Can we not even joke that would happen again? That was pretty bad.
Now, please, Trent, read some more questions, or let's move along here.
I gotta say, Kyle.
It's enough.
Well, here's the thing, Kyle. As much as you feel spit in the face of right now, our Impact Loungers here, man. They had your back this week. There was a lot of
Kyle is strong, and I apologize to all of my Team Kyle supporters. who might have think that I folded and turned my back at them at the beginning of this podcast. The war is back on. Fuck you, Basil. Fuck you. You're a fucking rat. Yeah, but you're lucky that you do photography for Impact because I'm going to tolerate you for that, my friend.
Kylie, I'm sensing a little bit of anger.
Kylie, what are you calling me Kylie for? Fucking Kylie Minogue or something? Kylie?
No, your name is Kylie.
Kylie?
Kylie.
His name's Kylie, like yours is Basil.
What,
exactly.
I call you Basil, so you come on here with the fucking nickname for me?
Why wouldn't I?
All right, he's got ammo.
Hey, you can't come to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sir. Sir.
Hey, on a positive note here, I was one of the comments was saying, Jesus Christ, you guys are. I'm having palpitations.
All I'm saying, ratings were up. Ratings were up.
It's all about ratings. The ratings business, guys. The ratings business here. There was like I said, a lot of team Kyle. I mean, Basil, you are the new kid on the Impact Lounge here, and people really wanted their boy. So
I get it. They're used to their coffee being made a certain way. I understand. I'm not here to win over all the fans in one night. But coffee, as we all know, is an acquired taste.
Colby Cooper says, Jesus, Kyle, you and Basil sound like you need to have a match. Maybe a pre-show match at Rebellion. I think they'll sell a couple of tickets, maybe. I mean, I'd buy a ticket for that.
It's possible. I like the other comment, though, where somebody recommended that we get on one of the WWE video games and stream it on Twitch. Me versus Basil.
I would probably
Trent as special guest ref
on that game because I bought the game, and like I do every couple of years when I buy it and I say I'm going to play it, I play like 3 matches and then don't play it.
Well, we could impact it up. You know, we can get the Impact custom arena going.
No.
Get Trent as special guest ref.
We'll play WWE 2K. Let's not punish both of us here.
We'll get Trent on there as special guest ref. It'll be worth a good commentary. It'll launch our Twitch channel.
HSG Sabu said Basil versus Kyle in WWE 2K. Trent on a third controller as special guest ref and Twitch it.
That's what I'm saying. That's the comment I was talking about.
Let's do it. Let's make a couple bucks, guys.
We should be using Twitch though, Trent. We should be co-streaming. We should be using Twitch.
Let me ask the loungers here. Would you guys like a co-stream on Twitch on Fridays? Would it take away from you guys watching the main stream? Would you want our goddamn comments to go? I mean, I'd love to do it just for fun. I mean, I'm down to do it. Kyle, I don't know. I mean, if you're in, I'm in. You know, if the people want to see it, let us know. If you guys want us to co-stream and do it.
With the co-stream like that, doesn't like our commentary go over the Impact's commentary?
And that's how it works. I think you basically commentate.
I think we can do a 3-man booth for that.
I'm down. I'm down to do it.
It wouldn't be our regular podcast, but it'd just be a chill, laid back, hang out with the listeners. But then again, would we be taking away from the sub chat? Trent, shout out the sub chat again. Whoopsie brought that to our attention, and we've been loving it.
Oh my God, Whoopsie! Thanks for bringing this up to our attention. There's a special, so the regular chat's flying, right? It's going a million miles an hour. It's actually not bad, but you can never really engage in it. But on the settings, right above where the chat is, there's a little drop down. If you hit the drop down, it gives you the other chat option, and one says subscriber chat only. You jump in that, and it's only subscribers, and it's a lot more paced, and you can actually have a conversation in there. Melissa Santos jumps in and reads that one sometimes. So join the sub chat if you actually want to talk about it. If you want to just like throw random shit out, stay in the main chat. But sub chats where actually convo's going to happen. But I think doing a co-stream would be cool because last few weeks, like Basil and a couple other friends of ours, and we were all watching it in our houses and literally texting each other as we're watching it. So like we're kind of doing something already.
I think we would have to wait a couple weeks because this week we got shows, and then next week we have shows because this week would be freelance, and then next week is Warrior. So it'd be 2 weeks from this Friday.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well,
we can do it.
I'm working Fridays, so you guys would have to call me live from scrubbing toilets. You know what I mean?
No, but you can get Skype on your phone.
Well,
Yeah, we can do
as
it.
funny as this sounds, I work in a high school that has some sort of thing that they call a service blocker. And in the school, you can't use your cell phone anywhere. They have their own Wi-Fi. They're very secretive about the password.
The kids can't do it, yeah.
I'm an employee. I can't even get the password. They don't give that Wi-Fi password out to anybody. So
That's brutal.
they have this system where when you pull your phone out anywhere in the school, you get no service at all. So, like, I have to pre-download all of my podcasts to listen to before work. You know what I mean? I'm try to run off the data. It's awful. It's awful. But if you guys want to, call me up during the show, let me know what's going on, I'd appreciate it.
Do that.
What we can do is
We can do the Monday too. There's that Monday stream too.
Hey, Monday stream. I'm looking
Monday
forward
stream.
to that.
I'm at work.
Oh, you're working.
I was watching it. I was watching Impact today on my iPad.
At work?
Yeah, I was at work and it was on silent because, like, if I had customers come in and stuff like that, I would just have it running under the desk or something like that.
Gotcha.
I mean, luckily they show. I don't know if it's luckily if you're watching it live, but they still show a ton of the old classic stuff in between, like the quote unquote commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Wait, Basil. Oh, sorry, Basil.
Oh,
Basil.
gee.
Sorry.
We were close.
Sorry.
We got close.
Sorry. I slipped up. Basil, do you have a subscriber account on Twitch? Are you subscribed?
Of course, I've been subscribed to. I've been subscribed to Impact for the last couple months now.
But
next month I'll
what
get
is
my
the
3
difference
months.
though? Isn't it supposed to be like commercial free? But I guess GWN flashbacks don't technically count as commercials.
So when you're watching it live, because it's simulcast with Pursuit, what they do is they either do like an interview segment, or they'll show like Callis or whatever, or they'll show like a classic segment during the commercial break. So you're not watching commercials, but while there's supposed to be a commercial break, you're watching something Impact related instead of ads.
Yeah. So it's not actually a commercial. It's just it's like a GWN. It's somebody, it's Melissa Santos and Don Callis talking. It's keeping you engaged with product rather than like, something about like Windex. I don't know.
I personally think like the replay shouldn't have it, in my opinion, but because I think I don't know. I think for the replay, cut it down to an hour and a half. You don't really need any of those replays in there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I think it'd be good to cut the in-betweens out. Just make the replay a quick, like, hey, you missed it on Friday, get caught up.
Yeah.
You don't need the in-between.
In some weird way, though, I enjoy them because when I'm watching the Twitch channel, it's like I'm watching Impact TV. It's like an Impact TV channel.
Yeah.
The commercials are Impact flashbacks. I'd rather see Impact flashbacks than any other commercials.
I don't mind the flashbacks. They're just sometimes a little bit too long. Like they'll show like a full match.
Yeah.
And that's it's too long of a break in between. But
they've been better.
Yeah. During the episodes, I don't like that. Like during the episodes when they'll have a flashback and actually, play the last 5-6 minutes of a match. Like, why would you do that? I don't know. That is too much.
About it. They've been better about highlighting the matches now.
Yeah,
but
they have.
I enjoy the like Melissa jumps on or like Callis is on with Josh. I like that because, like you said, Kyle,
and that's
like,
cool. And didn't they do Al Snow? They had Al Snow on for an interview last week after the show.
It was after the show. He was hyping the Louisville show that just happened with OVW. So yeah, like that was 2 weeks ago. And last week was Josh Alexander was on. So it was cool, man. I like it. It's like a whole night of Impact. And then usually after the episode's done, they throw on something like one of the more like stellar pay-per-views, like I think they threw on, I want to say Rebellion 2 weeks ago, not Rebellion, Redemption a couple weeks ago, and they'll throw on like Bound for Glory a couple weeks before that. So they're kind of keeping it like more current stuff, and stuff you can focus on and stay tuned in for. I think it's fun. I enjoy it. Like you said, it's a whole night of Impact. It makes it fun, man. I really do like it.
And you get the webcam clips, Don Callis, Melissa Santos, whoever. It's such a cool interactive experience. You're not going to get that anywhere else.
Fun. She's cool, man.
I think the funniest ones are when Josh changes his clothes every other segment.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
He's like a fashion guy, though, right? You remember he had that fashion podcast for a long time.
Josh Matthews had a fashion podcast.
I thought that's funny, yeah. I don't know why he stopped.
Yeah, I remember that.
I forgot what it was called, but he stopped. He said I got too busy, but he had a men's fashion podcast.
And also, a little tidbit for you. A couple summers ago, he had a radio show in Nashville on a ESPN Nashville sports station.
That's right.
It was a Saturday morning show, and I called into the first show and talked to Josh. The first,
Did you really?
Yes, if you could ever find that audio, the first ever Josh Matthews show, I called in and talked to Josh. I don't remember what I mentioned, but I just called in and said something positive about Impact. I don't remember what it was, but I called into the first show. But it only lasted a few weeks. Josh had Saturday mornings on this radio station for a couple weeks, and then the show went away. But I enjoyed it. I liked it, the Josh Matthews show. Very short-lived. Josh, if you're listening, I dug your Nashville radio show, and if you ever bring it back, I'll be listening. I don't know about the fashion podcast, but I do dig the Nashville radio show.
Oh, I'm convinced they're listening because, Kyle, how many times have we said things, like very particular things in this podcast, and they showed up on Impact next taping? I'm telling you, dude.
Nah, you're tooting your own horn. That's crazy talk.
Nah,
Don't believe it.
I'm convinced.
Paranoia.
There's too many weird specific things we've said on this podcast that have happened, and I'm like, no way, man, no way that somebody's not listening to this at Impact. I'm telling you, it's Garrett Kidney, maybe he's listening, maybe Kevin Sullivan's listening. Somebody's listening to this goddamn podcast at Impact. They're not putting it over just yet, but they will. They will. It might be Ross Foreman. Maybe it's Ross, our Basil and I's buddy, Ross Foreman.
I love Ross. Ross is a good dude.
Great guy. We he was at AAW.
He was. It was good to talk to him.
He's a good dude, man. Ross. Kyle, are you familiar with Ross Foreman at all? Do you know the name?
No, I'm not one of these cool Mr. Backstage insiders like you guys. I don't have these experiences. I'm not at AAW. I'm not taking pictures at Impact. I'm at home watching the TV show. I don't know any of this shit.
You're a louse.
I'm an outsider. I'm an outsider. I'm just. That's all I am. Just a fan.
You're a fan. You enjoy the show. There's nothing more that needs to happen.
Nothing more than
That's
a louse.
That's right. Hey, fuck you.
Kylie, you're getting a little out of hand again.
Gentlemen, we have a review to do about this.
That's right. We do.
Shall we
There
go there?
was a show. Yes.
There was a show.
Yes. We're at the mark here. Let's move along.
If you guys can coexist, I know. Look, I know tensions are running high, blood's boiling, but if you two can coexist for my sake, okay? Because one of the comments here was from Eric DeHoff, and he said, "I'm on Team Trent because Trent's the glue that holds the show together." So at least I got a goddamn shout out here, okay? So you guys, for my sake, need to behave yourselves and get through this damn review because the people want a review. They want our thoughts. Some people like Team Basil. Some people want Team Kyle. They always want Team Trent. Let's balance them out and give them a nice review, put a bow on this, and maybe you two can coexist for my sake. Nobody cares about my feelings here. I'm in the middle of the whole damn thing. What about me? Huh? You guys ever stop to think about that during your anger bits and your egos, huh, gentlemen?
As long as I'm not getting ganged up on by the Backstreet Boys, that's all. It's all right with me. Everything's cool. As long as I'm not getting ganged up on, tag teamed,
This is like this.
I think Kylie's afraid about being the third wheel here.
But he's not. This is our show. What are you threatened about? This is our show here.
Insecurity is a very ugly trait in a person.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. You guys can't stop.
Thin ice there, pal. Thin ice.
Thin ice.
You herbal garnish, you.
Oh, my God. It never ends with you two.
I
don't like basil, all right? It ruins salads, ruins chicken. I don't like basil.
That's a goddamn line, you know that.
I don't like basil.
That's a lie.
Never did.
I did use basil on my spaghetti for dinner tonight, by the way.
Can we do the fucking review? Fuck your spaghetti, Trent. Let's do the Impact review. God damn it. Fuck your spaghetti. Let's. We have listeners to.
That's what I was saying.
They're listening right now, waiting for the review. Let's move along.
All right, here we go, gentlemen. All right, we are going to do the March 1st, 2019 episode of Impact Wrestling from Las Vegas Sam's Town Casino, and we're going to go and break this down. The show opened with an interesting match, one I didn't see coming. Willie Mack taking on Jake Christ. Pretty interesting back and forth, guys. It was nothing too crazy. I love that Willie Mack gets to display how athletic he is. Jake, as we know, is very good about making people look great. And so it was really back and forth. Dave jumped in and got Jake disqualified. But to his rescue comes out Tommy Dreamer, and he basically says, we're doing a tag match, OVE versus Dreamer and the Mac. And they go at it, pretty good back and forth. It was fun. It was fun. Willie Mack and Tommy Dreamer defeat OVE with Willie Mack doing what Don Callis called a 6-star frog splash, which looked painful as hell because of the size and the swing he got on it. So team Mac Dreamer, guys, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is something they're going to be going with because Willie is now kind of broken off from Rich Swann a little bit? Would you like to see Tommy and Willie Mack keep going? What do you guys think? Kyle, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on this one?
I like the idea of Tommy and Willie Mack together. That's not bad, but even more so, I like the idea of Tommy versus OVE, or the Kross brothers mainly.
Okay. All right. I just feel bad that the Kross brothers are made to look a little weak here because I mean what Tommy's up there, right? And Kross are the younger. They're part of OVE. OVE is pretty over right now. Basil, what do you think about this? I mean, do you think that the Kross, it's just making OVE look a little weak to be kind of taking the loss in something like this?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of off-putting. I mean, you have a tag team of Dave and Jake Kross who have been teaming for years, literally lose to a makeshift team that was put together in about 15, 20 seconds. And then kind of going back to your point of Mac breaking off from Rich, when was there really an official break off? I mean, Rich has been in the hospital. So I don't.
True.
So it's
no, it's another chapter of this. It's like another branch of the story though, because he's still facing off with OVE. Rich is in the hospital, still dealing with Sami Callihan, and I'd like to think of Tommy Dreamer as just he's like the hobo with the shotgun of Impact Wrestling. You know what I mean? He's the old vet that comes to serve justice, and that's exactly what he's doing here.
I'm not saying that like Tommy in it doesn't make any sense or he doesn't have a place. I was just going off what Trent was saying, where Willie has broken off from Rich.
Do you think Tommy's going to kind of join that fight now, like kind of be helping Willie, because Willie's you're right. There was no closure to that.
3 versus 3 makes more sense than 3 versus 2.
Right.
Bingo.
So you got so Tommy's thrown into that mix. I mean, he's ultimate good guy, right? I mean, Tommy's is the heroic good guy. Nobody really boos Tommy Dreamer, so you know that you'll get a guaranteed anchor on a team with Tommy Dreamer, even if like Rich is conflicted. Willie's kind of getting frustrated with him, like what the hell's going on with you? So
I think it's safe to say at Rebellion we are going to see a very hardcore match between Tommy Dreamer, Willie Mack, and Rich Swann against OVE. I think we could. Is it safe to say that?
I think I personally think Sammy's going to go for the X Division belt at Rebellion against Rich. That's what I'm calling right now. I think maybe these two tag teams here have a rematch from what this show was.
Yeah, you could still do that too. You could do Tommy and Willie versus the Kross brothers. That still works.
I think that'll be what's going on. I think Sammy's going for the X Division title. That's going to be my prediction. I'm calling it right now. I think it's time for Sammy. Sammy needs a belt. We got to get him some credibility as he builds up, because he is literally positioning himself as a very top guy for this company going forward. Just re-signed. He's very, very proud of working there. He's always promoting it. He's doing like Basil. How many partner shows have they had between Sammy's companies, between Revolver and Rockstar? I mean, they've done
all of them.
Like all of them, all the last like bunch have all been in partner shows, even though Revolver one coming up. So
I don't. The one good thing about with Sammy though, Sammy hasn't had many title shots that I can remember. So it's good. He doesn't have the kind of like the old. I'm trying to make a reference. It's a WWE reference, but he doesn't have the Bray Wyatt effect where he's losing a bunch of matches that aren't actually important.
Right.
So he's still a threat to the title at any time. So when actually he gets a title match, a little bit more important in my opinion, which is
very good point.
Which is good with me. So I would rather have the build up to Sammy getting a title match more than him just being in the title picture and losing when the timing is not right.
Good point. Good point. I want to ask both of you guys one question though. This is a random one though. I'll just stay on this match for just another second. Kyle, I'm going to start with you on this one. So Willie Mack is the NWA US champion currently, I believe, right?
Correct.
So
how come they don't let him bring that championship to Impact Wrestling? That's what I want to know.
That's what I was asking.
Because it's the partnership with NWA and ROH right now.
Yeah.
And there's no partnership right now between NWA and Impact, to my knowledge.
Do you guys like other company titles to be showcased on TV for like between companies? Like if he showed up as the NWA US champ, does it give credibility? Is it kind of like, oh, that's cool? Like he's going to defend that on an Impact show?
It really depends, because you can't have someone be a champion from another company and then if he's booked to lose or something like that. I mean, remember, every company is its own dimension, its own universe, its own parallel. Yeah. So it really depends on how you're going to showcase, and it's that hard balance between it. Because, I mean, you got to remember, we have Sammy as our champion at AEW, but he's not showing up with an AEW title.
Yeah, well, that's on AEW for not letting it happen.
No, but you know what I mean, though. At the same, but it's good at the same time, because if Sammy loses, he's not this company's champion, and then losing with that belt still in his hand.
Right, Kyle. What do you think? Do you like other titles being showcased on other programs? Is that something you would want to see? Like if he showed up with that belt?
In the past, Trent, I have said that. Yeah, I think it's cool because they were kind of flirting with it a little. If you remember. The first time Reno Scum came around, they were wearing their whatever belts they had at whatever independent promotion they were working. Probably FSW in Vegas. I would think that's what it was. But when you think about it, it's kind of like some of these guys work for so many independent promotions. It would get to the point where everybody would look like Austin Aries as of last year, just covered in belts. You know what I mean? Because, some of these guys are working MLW, working NWA, whatever, in all AAW and every single independent promotion in between. Then it's like, if they have certain partnerships with certain places regarding like one night onlys and stuff like that, then yeah, maybe. But to me, it kind of throws off Impact's like personal presentation of the characters. You know what I mean? Like their champions are their champions. So. I understand why they wouldn't. I totally get why you're not going to have other titles on TV. I get it.
Yeah, I can see it.
The only time it works is if you're doing like a partnership, like back when. Trying to figure out another time. Kind of like when Impact and New Japan had their partnership and they had their champions show up, but their champions would win. And that doesn't always work for your storylines. So you can't have everybody as a champion showing up, because then it devaluates your own championships.
True. It depends how you're using it. If you're gonna do it, it's got to be using as a piece to further your story on your own program. So
yeah, it always looks better if you have a champion that loses. It's better that the champion doesn't have the title on them, because then it's like, well, if their champion just lost, then the competition must not be good at that promotion. When it's just all really booking and timing and all that stuff. So unless it's like a joint partnership like what we have with ROH and NWA right now, because you have Nick Aldis showing up on ROH and he's involved with storylines. Like you got him and Marty Scurll at the Jim Crockett Cup for the title, but it's an ROH wrestler going to NWA in that instance, but it's being built on ROH's show. So it's like a kind of weird dynamic that you have to balance, and it's really hard to do that, to not only balance your own products storylines, but then to balance another company's storylines, and you don't really know how long that payoff is going to be.
Gotcha. Yeah, good point. All right, cool. So, all right, moving forward here, we got the investigative reporter showed up out of nowhere again. He said his name this time. Does anybody remember his name? Because he said his name and I totally missed it.
Oh, it was Cortez?
Yeah, something Cortez.
Ricky Cortez or something like that?
I don't know.
I just watched it.
Ricky Ricardo.
Ricardo Cortez.
Ricky.
No, see.
Lucy, I'm home.
Ricky, I want to come to the Impact show.
He showed up and ambushed Johnny, and he says, Johnny's back there, and he's like, and he kind of got a little shitty with Johnny. This is something I expected. This is what Kyle would do if he was the investigative reporter. He's like, hey, Johnny, I heard you giving out title shots to everybody. Where's my title shot? And Johnny was not amused. He was like, I don't find that funny, and he walked away. Kyle, I thought of you immediately because I'm like, if Kyle was an investigative reporter at Impact, he would have, with that New York brash you got, you would have walked up to Johnny and been like, hey, I heard you're handing out title shots like they're candy on Halloween. Where's my title shot? I thought that was a little weird for this guy. He kind of went out there a little forward, but
douchebag reporter. I like it. He's got some personality. I like it.
Yeah, he's a typical douchebag reporter, man.
Not your regular backstage reporter, and he's not. He's an investigator.
He's an investigator. He's out to get the scoops. So, all right, after that, guys, we jumped over. It was KM and Fallah Bahh taking on the returning Reno Scum. Reno Scum, who I didn't know prior to Impact, prior to their first run. They it was cool because it was a good platform to bring them back. It was Vegas, it's home state, hometown. They're at least going to get some kind of hometown pop. So it was a pretty interesting match. I mean, it was what you expect. This was the lighter match. It was fun. There was Bahh versus Oye chants back and forth, which is always good. Everybody was engaged, which I liked. Crowd was really into it. They loved because Bah's over and Reno Scum's in their hometown. Fallah and Cam win this one, but Reno Scum attacks them afterwards and kind of sets up for them, like a little mini feud going forward. Now, Reno Scum is a very standard tag team. There's nothing mind blowing about what they do, but they're solid. They've been teaming together for a long time. I'm a big fan of Luster, the bigger one. I like his look. Luster the Legend has a cool look. Perfect for a tag team leader. Kind of he has that presence to him. I don't know how far you can go with Reno Scum in a tag team platform that involves LAX and the Lucha Brothers right now. There's a lot, and the Rascals. How far can you take Reno Scum? Do you guys think it's permanent? Basil, let's start with you at this time. What do you think about? Have you heard of Reno Scum prior to Impact?
Before this run or the last run?
The last run, before they even just went to Impact in general.
Not really. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing because they weren't in our independent scene.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. They're not bad. They have like a gritty look to them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a tag team. They're there. It's something more because the tag team division in Impact right now is kind of limited to, I feel like, LAX, Lucha Bros, Rascals, and then now that KM is gone,
maybe.
Yeah,
you definitely need another one coming.
There's I mean, and they weren't really a serious tag team in my opinion. That would be title contenders. So I feel like more tag teams in Impact is always a good thing, just to at least mix things up. So
I was really hoping they would have given them a small title run, like a token title run, if anything came and follow. But Kyle, what do you think, man? Are you a scum? I mean, you are a scumbag, but are you into Reno Scum? I mean, you're a New York Scum.
I am a scumbag. I think that Reno Scum should call their fans scumbags.
Yeah,
shout out to the scumbags. Do it for the scumbags.
Dude, the story writes itself. They should refer to their fans as a scumbag.
The scumbags.
So perfect.
I consider myself a proud scumbag. I am a big fan of Reno Scum. Thing is with me though is, see, I'm such a big fan of punk music. So like I'm a sucker for the gimmick. I love their characters. I love seeing them come out. Big mohawk, leather jackets, all that. So it's like, without those characters though, I don't know what I would think of them. Remove that whole image. I don't know what I would think of them, but I do love Reno Scum, and I am a scumbag. And now, I read somewhere that they were invited back for the Vegas tapings because they are both located in Vegas. So I didn't read anywhere that they signed deals. So I don't know whether to expect them or not in the future, but I'd like to see them get deals. But like both of you said, they got the Rascals, they have the Lucha Brothers, they have LAX. There's a lot of competition, but Reno Scum is just one episode in, so, since coming back, so I'd like to see what they can do moving forward. But yes, I am a Scumbag. I am a Reno Scum fan.
You sure are. You goddamn. If they make a T-shirt, I'm buying. If I swear, I hope it says Scumbag, and I'll buy you one because I want you to be proud of your scum.
I want like 10% for coining the term.
You're a card-carrying member of the Scumbags, man.
That's right.
This could just be a territorial type feud, I mean, because Cam and Fala got on the mic backstage afterwards, and they were like, "You guys aren't going to get over on us. You just came back. We've been here for 2 years, this and that." So
the typical angry 80s style wrestling promo cut by Cam and Fala, like fingers pointed at the camera, very angry. This is the classic, typical wrestling promo. Doesn't get any more typical promo than that. I like it. I dug it in that regard.
That's all you need. This could play out over the course of the next couple of weeks, and then by the time they're leaving Vegas to go to the Windsor tapings, I mean, the feud's over, and Reno Scum is stays in Vegas. So it's fine. I'm totally cool with those regional type programs just because it's good for the local market. The crowd's going to be into it like they were. Next, guys, was my favorite segment of the whole night. Disco Inferno showing up for his first day of work, and he's coming up to the back. He's coming. Well, that's reference. All right, so he's coming up and he sees Ethan Page, Basil, your buddy, Ethan Page.
That's my dude.
And he goes, I don't even know who you are, nor do I even care. Like, why are you talking to me? And Disco refers to himself as the new ass to kiss around here, which I fucking lost it in my living room. I'm like, that's a great term. But he goes into the management office. D'Lo Brown is walking out, and he goes, "Oh, Glenn, what are you doing here?" And D'Lo kind of alludes to him being a new producer. So D'Lo is officially a producer on Impact. I wonder if Paul London is official too. We'll see. But he goes into the office. It's one of the one-sided views. The voices are all making fun of him. They're all making fun of like Disco inside jokes, where he was like, he's like, "I got a great idea for the X Division." They're like, "Oh, let me guess, you're gonna bring Bill Ding, the evil architect, out to win the title." And it's like, then they all start laughing out. He's like, "No, guys." He goes, "What if wins and losses matter?" They're like, "Wins and losses," and then they make a joke on that. They just rip him apart. And they're like, "Glenn, the only reason we hired you is to get our coffee." And so he's like, "Coffee?" And it was just like a goofy segment. They even alluded to the fact that he was like, they're like, "You're a week late." He's like, "Oh, this place is huge. I've been walking around for a week." And dude, it was just funny, man. I just thought it was so funny. Disco, what I love about him is that he doesn't mind getting made fun of. He loves being the butt of a joke. He takes it in stride. It's great. I love that segment. I watched it a couple of times. I was laughing. He's so good at playing it up. So that was fun.
The funniest part though was not only the reference to the reverse battle royal, but
reverse battle royal.
No, you're missing the best part, Trent. I can't believe you missed when they said he said what was it? I used to write TV with Vince. Wrong, Vince.
Wrong, Vince.
Wrong, Vince.
Is it guys? I used to write TV with it. Wrong, Vince. I was like, because some guy just kind of like hollered it from the back. Wrong, Vince.
Dude, you can clearly hear Jimmy Jacobs' voice was the one talking back and forth. I think I heard Jimmy's voice and Scott D'Amore are the voices. I always try to decode those voices, try to figure them out.
Yeah, Jimmy was one of them. I don't think Scott. I couldn't tell Scott, but I know Jimmy definitely was one of them.
Jimmy's definitely the one who said Bill Ding. That was definitely Jimmy Jacobs' voice. Bill Ding, the evil architect.
I love.
What was the Tarzan ropes reference? I got everything else. Bill Ding, the evil architect, the reverse battle royal, writing with Vince. But what was the reference to swinging in on Tarzan ropes?
Oh,
that missed me.
When they have initially, I think, pitched like the Ultimate X match, that's what came up was like how they'd swing on ropes to get to the belt or something.
No way.
So, it was
the Ultimate X match was supposed to have ropes like hanging for them to swing on. You're saying,
but it wasn't serious because what Disco's thing is that, and this started in WCW, he would when they'd be stuck for an idea and they'd just kind of be in the writing room, like kind of everybody's pondering an idea, he would kick out like a absurd idea on purpose just to like pop the room. That's where like building came up, and what was the other one, man? Kyle, what's the other ones they always make fun of on Keeping It 100? God, there's like so many that are just like, building is the most popular one, but like they just like he would just kick them out.
Yeah, they have a lot of on Keeping It 100, the podcast. They have a lot of funny discussions, and one of Disco's things is he throws out those like funny like pun name gimmicks, like building.
That's the thing.
This is terrible. And we got to put over Keeping It 100. If anybody listening has never listened to Keeping It 100, Conan's podcast, you've been missing out. You have to listen to that show.
Yeah, that's a great show, man. So there's a lot of cool discussion on there, but yeah, it was just like it's like basically all inside jokes about Disco, and it's great. So it was fun. From there, we backstage we got got a little tense because it was Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake. This partnership that's not really a partnership that kind of is. Eddie says he doesn't need. He said he doesn't need Eli. He's like, I got my own tag team partner. He looks at the Kenny, who was one of the Kennys who's in my living room. That same Kenny, Basil. You know about that Kenny?
That Kenny that we drove down with us, and then he was surprised that we brought that Kenny.
that same Kenny in Trent's living room that Trent oils up and uses on his girlfriend all the time. Trent puts on the Eddie Edwards music in the background, and he lubes up the Kenny stick. I know.
I howl.
I know.
I throw a wolf howl in there too, before I go in. And
remind the listeners in case they don't know.
He actually puts on the war paint too.
Oh God.
On my chest,
Remind the listeners, Trent, the ones that don't know, in case this is their first time around, and I feel bad for them. They are so out of the loop. Remind them, you have a Kenny Kendo stick in your apartment right now.
Yeah, so Basil's there for this too. So we were at a show called Warrior Wrestling. Basil's working. I was a guest. Eddie was on it, and show was over at the end of the night. Everybody got on the bus, and then realized like he left Kenny. It was a good one. It was like a well-to-do Kenny that he had on the show. I think he fought Moose, right?
Yeah, he fought Moose on that one.
He had Kenny. And he left
No. He fought Austin. He fought Aries.
He fought Aries? Okay.
Yeah, remember he has a feud with Aries right now at Warrior.
Okay. So yeah, he had the so I'm like, oh man, he left it. Let's just throw it in the car, we'll bring it down. And we brought it down to Nashville, and he was like, you guys brought this down to Nashville? Like
that was like the most Marcus thing we could do.
I was like, well, I thought you might need it. I thought you forgot. He goes, nah, dude, I got Kenny here. Kenny's with me already. I
can't
multiple Kennys.
Kenny on a plane.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's what he said, right? It's like, I can't really take him on a plane. I have to have my own Nashville Kenny. So Kenny rode back with us, and now Kenny sits in my umbrella holder next to my
casually and shit.
You fucking loser. You probably thought like, oh, I'm gonna save the day and bring back Kenny. You travel all the way there, and no, like, Trent, you idiot. I already have one.
I'm gonna save Homecoming, guys. I got you.
I was gonna be, if I really wanted to ultimately mark it, I should be like, yeah, well, Eddie, since it's here, could you mind signing this?
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say you should have been like, oh, well, can you at least sign it for me?
It sucks, man. As much I love the memorabilia and shit like that, I can't do it anymore. I can barely get the signatures and the mark shit. I love because I'm too much on the inside. Now they're gonna look at me like, you're a mark working here.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like at a certain point, Trent, as a company guy, you gotta have professionalism. You can't mark out and fan out like we know you want to. You gotta have balance. You're always gonna be a fan first, but you have to have balance.
I do it now because it's like I can't go be like, yo, can I take a selfie? I don't care about any of that. I'm like, yo, can I just take a picture of you? Like when we had the Bucks, I was like, so me and Watson were like, well, we need pictures of the Bucks somehow. So we both got our backstage picture. He got his picture with MJF, and then I did the promo picture that they're using to promote the Zip Up hoodie.
We should have got it. Sucks though, like we can't take pictures with them anymore. That's the bummer part of it
all. unless we don't work at a show, but for me, I don't know. That's
you
like
work at every show almost. So.
Any show that matters, pretty much, yeah.
I'm just gonna start playing it off, like, because Kyle, what happens is Basil sets up his like photo station at these shows, and like when the guys come down for their promo shoots, I'm like jumping, like, hey, let me jump in with you. We're gonna do a camera test. LAX, come on, guys, let's get a nice professional photo here together. I'll just play it off like that, like, while he warms up his camera, why don't we, Basil, take a shot of this? I'm just gonna use that. Hey, there's my photo with LAX, and it's behind a very nice glamour shot background.
I'm going to be sure to save everything you just said in that excerpt and send it in to castrating the marks.
He would tear me apart for that one.
Yo, really quick, I'm not trying to bring down the mood or anything, but I just saw that King Kong Bundy passed.
I saw that too just now. I was going to mention at the end, first wrestler I ever met was King Kong Bundy. No, second. Sorry. Tatanka's my first wrestler. But King Kong Bundy is amazing. I met him. He was the second wrestler I ever met. Second 8x10 I ever owned too. Signed. But man, yeah, bummer, dude. 61 years old only.
Very sad. Very sad. Luke Perry and King Kong Bundy in one day.
Luke Perry, and then who was that? The rock artist or whatever. What was his name?
Singer. He was a singer from the Prodigy. I forgot his name though. The singer of Prodigy. He killed himself. Luke Perry had a stroke. King Kong Bundy, I don't know what it was, but man, crazy. It comes in threes, man. There's your third.
All in one day. It's not even like spread out.
That's nuts. King Kong Bundy. That's a bummer.
All right, move along with the review, Trent.
Oh yeah, way to bring it down. Jesus Christ.
Apologize.
GW in flashback, just for reference, was Rosemary and Jade in their Monsters Ball, just kind of hyping a little Rosemary Monsters Ball action. And Santos was doing the in-betweens on Twitch. All right. We got a little vignette here, guys. The Smoke Show. Smoke Show is there doing hyping up her debut next week, man. The wait's almost over.
Looking good.
Oh my God, that dress. Unbelievable.
That was a dress?
It looked like a belt wrapped around her, you know? It looked like a belt. I don't know, that was not a dress. But I'm not complaining.
It looked like a ribbon just wrapped around her, man. Barely wrapped around her. Unbelievable. She's hyping it up. Next week will be the debut. I'm wondering who she's gonna take on. I'm guessing like a squash, a joke maybe, by some local. I cannot imagine they'll put anybody competitive in there just because of the character. What do you guys think?
It's gonna be it's probably gonna be, I don't know.
Some local.
It's not gonna be a serious match whatsoever, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so. Kyle, what do you say, man? I'm thinking maybe that Ray Lynn, who was on the last Vegas tapings, maybe just get her squashed or something like that. What do you think?
Well, you could put Bobo in there, have her go up against Bobo.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to see
That's
that.
Right.
A lot of possibilities here. We could put her up against Ricky, the investigative reporter, if his name is Ricky. I'm still not sure what his name is. You guys said Ricky, but I have a feeling both of you are wrong on that. We'll find out next week. A lot of options here. You could put her up against the Great Disco Inferno. He's backstage over there. That's a good call. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of, because I'm leaning towards somebody funny. Like, put her against Falaba. Like it doesn't have to be against a guy either. It doesn't have to be an intergender match. Could be against one of the ladies as well. I don't know, but I'm leaning towards somebody funny. I don't think it's going to be a serious encounter.
I think you're right. It could be Disco because Disco.
That's why I'm thinking it's going to be something really funny.
Yeah. So, I think there's always been that Disco
something funny or in a different direction. I would say maybe put her up against a local person, but you could debut somebody here because you could have Scarlett go out and then have some sort of bodyguard / insurance policy. Somebody come in and handle it for her. This would be a good spot to bring somebody else in while debuting Scarlett. Two birds, one stone.
I think with all the build up and the hype, it's still. I don't think they're gonna put the attention on anybody else. Like, as much as I would love to see her and Killer Kross, like, team up in Impact. Mm-hmm. I think they're gonna just keep the spotlight on her, and it's gonna be her, and she's gonna win, and she's gonna win dominantly. But I don't think it's gonna be against a local jobber because I don't think that's gonna get any press, quote unquote, to say. I think it has to be against a name. It just might not be a relevant name, but it will be against a name.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see next week.
Next week it is. And I wonder what she's gonna wear next week, or lack thereof.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Tessa took on Delilah Doom. Coming up next. Delilah Doom, I mentioned it last week. We had her at AEW once. Oh yeah, she's total 80s. I guess I mentioned I called her the Richard Simmons.
You know what? She looks like a Glow character. That's what she is.
Yeah.
She's a
That's
character
what I wrote down.
Glow.
That's what I had in my notes. She basically is a Glow character come to life, and she took a very competitive match, man. I have not been impressed by Delilah Doom in the past. We had her at AEW once, I want to say, before Basil and I's time there. I think just during our fan years, and she was there.
She's a constant at bar wrestling, and she wrestles intergender tag matches a lot with Eli Everfly, and then against like Cage and Melissa Santos they've wrestled against before. So
you see, Kyle, this is why I keep this kid around. He knows all that stuff. I would never ever know what the hell is happening at bar wrestling and referencing that, but that's why I got this backstage boy around right here. He knows. Kyle, I mean, I know you guys got your differences, but there is value to each of you.
I've said that since day one. Basil, he contributes. He does. I've said that since day one.
He does. All right. Good competitive match though, man. Tessa took the win, but the crowd, dude, I was like, they gave her a good amount of time for Doom to get over, which I thought was cool. I don't think she's signed. I think this is just because she's local to the West Coast. She was brought in for a short program here, but she gets her TV moment. I think it's her TV debut.
I think she proved herself. She made the most of the little opportunity they gave her. She knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I thought she did very good. And like you said, I wasn't expecting that much out of it, and I was very impressed. Very impressed with Delilah specifically. Thought she did a fantastic job.
I think now, and I'm going to get you guys' opinion on this, and I'm going to start with you, Kyle. We got to start giving more levels to Tessa Blanchard's character now. She's kind of falling into like she's doing the same thing every week. You know, like she's a badass. She's got a pissed off attitude, a shitty attitude. I think we need to interject some new element into this character just to kind of keep her fresh, because she just can't be angry, Diamond every week. I mean, what do you think, man? What do you think we could do with Tessa?
What are you suggesting? What are you thinking?
No. I think maybe like she has some kind of alliance, or she starts coming. Maybe Daga starts accompanying her to the ring as her.
May I chime in?
Yes, absolutely.
I think right now everything feels on hold in the women's division or the knockouts division. I apologize. Because of this whole Dark War thing, and I think once that's done, we can build up to Jordan versus Tessa. I think that would be a great feud because they're both like strong style power lifter women. You can throw in Sue again or even Rosemary. I just think once that feud is done, because it's holding up 4 of the women right now, 5.
Kira, Jordan,
5.
Rosemary, Sue Young.
Yeah.
Count all the demon brides.
And Allie.
Yeah. And Allie, of course. Allie. The Sinister Minister. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I think once that's done, the divisions get to feel a lot more diverse. But right now it feels pretty limited because they're all tied up in 2 storylines.
And don't forget, Madison Rayne was killed in that storyline, and she just signed to come back. So you have Madison coming back. And Madison isn't coming back to do nothing. Well, and we're going to get Tessa versus Gale. Don't forget that. It clearly looks like they're booking towards Tessa versus Gale down the line.
Well,
it has to be Rebellion, though.
With Madison, because I was watching opening day, it was mentioned that Madison has 2 wins over Tessa.
Yeah.
So that might be a good thing to reprise for a little bit in the meantime, to have Madison and Tessa feud for a little bit and have Tessa come out looking strong on that. I don't know. It's kind of that weird balance because it's like, do you want to bring in a talent back in and just to have him job, or are you going to make it a feud? So,
yeah, I think you're right. There is a bit of a holding pattern. We got to kind of get
another thing I want to throw in here is that This is just, crazy talk fantasy booking. And I don't want to open up a can of worms and throw this in an entire different direction. So I'm not really inquiring from you two, but I just want to make this quick statement that with all of the women that they have right now, Twitch is this just platform that they could do so many things with. I would like to see a weekly knockout show at the tapings. So they could film matches for it and throw it together last minute. I would like to see an all knockouts Twitch show. There's a plethora of things they could do with the Twitch channel. The Twitch has been proving itself as a very successful platform. I would like to see more content. And Trent, every week we talk about them doing more with Explosion or creating another show.
Well, Explosion's on live now, right? Every Wednesday they put Explosion on, which is cool.
Yeah, but I would like to see the Knockouts get their own show where you could tell, these other little sub stories outside of, the regular Impact show. Give the women more time. It,
I would not be opposed to it. I was even going to propose that you and I start doing a quick bite of Explosion, and start throwing that up on the channel every week too. Yeah, that's a short one. Explosion's easy.
I'm with that.
So yeah, I wouldn't, dude. I love content. I know that sometimes there's too much, but if it's on Twitch, if it's on demand, you can kind of get it maybe on GWN also. No harm, no foul. You're already at the tapings. Throw on a couple matches, fill it with vignettes for the rest of it. Totally fine to fill 30 to 60 minutes. Easy. Speaking of all those other knockouts, we have Kira and Jordan confront Rosemary in the back. She basically tries to dissuade them from joining her in the Dark War, but Kira pushes back and says no. She goes, "Allie's my friend, and I'm joining, so I don't give a shit what you say." And she finally agrees. So Kira's persistence paid off. It's gonna be Jordan, Kira, and Rosemary taking on Sue, Allie, and yet to be named, I guess.
How does one human being get to the Dark World?
You have to die.
So
you need to go talk to Sinister Minister James Mitchell. That's who you need to go talk to.
Are they all going to be wearing face paint next week?
You have to make a deal with the devil to get in. After you've sold your soul for when you sell your soul to the devil for a prize in exchange, you go to the Dark War. You go to the underworld, man. That's it. So there's going to be some interesting shit. But Rosemary's already there. Rosemary's a bridge. Remember Bound for Glory, Rosemary was a bridge to get them in. So she's kind of in the middle. This is very, very sci-fi-ish. If you're a sci-fi fan, listeners, loungers, jump in on this. If you're a sci-fi reader, this reeks of I can't put my finger on what sci-fi novel this reeks of, but there was something that has something similar where somebody's like a medium in between the two different dimensions. It might be a very general sci-fi thing, not even anything in particular. I'm just remembering, but it has a very cool sci-fi element to it. So if anybody remembers or can reference that, what it is or what it's even called, just chime in on this in the comments. But we'll see. This Dark War is cool. It's very good featuring the women, man. The Impact women are very, very strong. Always have been. Division's always great. This is you got some young ones though. We got to build the. Kira is virtually unknown. Jordan is getting more and more known. We got to definitely build these ladies up, especially with.
You know what's kind of crazy though? I feel like the Knockouts title has been like secondary to all this.
Oh yeah, like with Taya, absolutely. She kind of won, and
didn't even think about Taya this entire time.
I didn't even mention Taya, not at all. You're right.
Because she's so involved with the regular main event scene right now with Morris with Johnny Impact.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, well, it's kind of good. I think that title kind of stays away from all this, and whoever comes out of this can kind of look towards Taya. But yeah, you're right. The title has become secondary, which is odd, which you don't want to do, man. She should have had a feud. I mean, she was feuding with Tessa.
But the Tessa thing is done.
Yeah. What do you do now? You got to throw her some opponents, man. You got to keep her busy. Kyle, what do you think, man? Who do you want to see tie up Taya? Ooh, interesting. Tie up Taya in the meantime while this Dark War is going on. Who would you put in there?
I mean, it seems to me like Madison Rayne is coming back into the fold. So
that's the only one. to tie her up at least until this is over. I think you're right. Good point. But we'll see, guys. I mean, I'm a little, I'm wondering where they go. But after this, we go to a match here. Ethan Page taking on Zachary Wentz, who's just, it's odd. They just bill him as Wentz, but on commentary they call him Zachary Wentz. Your boy Ethan Basil had some fresh gear on, which he hyped that all Friday. All day Friday, he was hyping that he's got fresh gear for this match. Brand new Vegas.
Well, the gear is homage to his wife.
Is it? How so?
It's, I believe she's, I'm gonna butcher this. I believe his wife is Venezuelan, and I think it was the Venezuelan color flags. It was a flag of wherever his wife is from.
Oh, okay.
And that's what the colors of the tights meant to be. I'm gonna try to find the tweet real quick, but he tweets a shit ton.
He does. Tweets a shit ton. Kyle, this is the shit Basil knows, man. I don't know how. I don't know any of this shit.
You know, it's like as much as I want to be mad at him and not like the guy, he's coming in with these little tidbits. He's like the fact checker of the podcast. I like this.
True.
I know these guys on the personal level, so it's like the little shit that I actually care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all that being said, you guys gotta be careful with what you say here on the show. You have to go see these people. You can't come on the show and be critical of somebody's performance and then go see them, look them in the face. You have to watch your backs.
I actually very critical depending on how close I know certain people. I've straight up said it to their faces. So I mean,
you're a regular wrestling snob, aren't you?
You gotta be constructive about it. You can't just be a straight up dick. But I mean, a lot of these guys actually do prefer if you're honest with them, but not in a trolley mark way. Like, yeah, this sucks. Well, okay, why? It's like
constructive criticism.
As long as you're constructive and you're not coming at it in a jobber way. In my honest opinion, I think it can be well done.
I don't like the way you hit your leg drop. They don't want that shit.
What?
Like, I don't like the way you hit your leg drop. That just looks so fake. Like some overly marky bullshit. Like, they don't want to hear that, man.
Yeah.
But they want to hear how I need to film the way you fucking talk down your boy MJF, your little brother MJF sometimes.
That's my boy. I'm allowed to talk to him like that.
You should see this guy.
Another Long Islander. Shout
That's
out to
right.
MJF.
He's one of yours. He's one of yours.
Another Long Islander.
Is he from the rich part of Long Island? Not the working class part?
I'm sure he is.
Is it Nassau? Is that the nice part of Long Island? What's the real?
No. Nassau is not nice. Nassau is. I mean, the thing is with Long Island is it's just like another one of those states where you go into this town and you can get shot and stabbed there. But then, like, right next door, there's another town with mansions in it. It's very, spread around. It's very, there's a lot of variety on Long Island.
Real quick thing. She's Colombian, so it was a Colombian flag.
Yeah, it was yellow, red, and
blue. Blue, and red.
Yeah. Cal, where the hell Mick Foley lives in Long Island? Is he near you?
Oh, yeah. I grew up seeing Mick Foley at the local Long Island Ducks games all the time. Mick would take his kids there, and me as a kid myself at the time, me and my buddies would go there, and after the baseball games, go catch Mick. He's signed our socks plenty of times, took pictures with Mick. Mick was very nice to the fans. Good guy.
Hey, he's a real local Long Islander, man. He just never left. Grew up there and never left.
But let's move along here with the review, shall we?
Shall we? I'm sorry for trying to socialize.
No, we have
personalize the show a little bit.
We have fun. We do. I like how we go off the rails, but we always have to steer it back. That's what I do.
I'm just trying to personalize you, Kyle. The listeners seem to love you as shown last week.
In doses.
Doses. All right, fine. Dose. That's going to be the end of it.
It's the review.
All right. We got Ethan Page and Zachary Wentz. Quick match, a little back and forth. Wentz wins after a little schmazola on the outside where Ethan Page shoves the NFL alumni. The NFL alumni recently announced partnership with Impact out in Las Vegas. They're sitting front row.
What's his name?
I believe Arlen Greenwood.
Okay, I thought I was about to chew your ass for just having NFL alumni, but you came correct. You have his name. Good job, Trent.
You You told me many months ago, you're like, Trent, you need to take better notes. I need you to take notes on each pod.
You've been on point. You've been on point.
And I wrote down Marlon Greenwood, NFL Hall of Famer, at the ringside. And Ethan Page gets up and his face shoves him. He shoves him back. Wentz takes advantage, takes the win. Pretty interesting, right? I mean, it reminded me so much of when Bam Bam Bigelow shoved Lawrence Taylor at the Royal Rumble. I was like, something about wrestlers and football players, man. They just don't like them being at ringside.
I love it, man. That's one thing that I mark out for. And I'm not even a huge sports fan, but I'm just a mark for the good old-fashioned, football player versus wrestler encounter.
Oh, yeah. Been done for years.
I love
Jarrett
it.
with the Tennessee.
Love it.
Double J with the Tennessee Titans back in the day, and TNA. I think it's
who was that? Who was a couple years ago? It was Bully Ray, and I think New York Giants. Maybe Brandon Thomas. Maybe not Brandon Thomas.
Tomlinson. I can't remember the name.
Tomlinson. We're butchering the name. Samsonite. We're butchering the name here, but no. Swanson Samsonite. I'm a sucker for a classic pro wrestling sports encounter.
Me too. I love it. It's always good to have crossover. Now, this next segment, back to Glenn Gilberti backstage. He's walking, runs into Tommy Dreamer. Tommy says, he goes, "Oh, hey, Glenn, how you doing?" He goes, "Well, if you want to work here, your first assignment is..." Well, I like how Tommy was really casual at first. He's like, "Yeah, Glenn's like, you work here?" He's like, "Yeah, I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that."
I like how Disco is constantly saying that he's the new ass that everybody has to kiss. I'm the new ass to kiss.
Oh, he's like, "What are you doing? I'm the new ass to kiss around
I'm supposed to be head of the creative. Where's Don Callis?"
I love it. He so Tommy says, "All right, your first assignment is you have to go in there. You have to go in this room and deal with the owl." He goes, "What owl?" He goes, "The owl, the anthem owl." He goes, "The owl,
anthem owl."
And he's like, he's a top owl in the business. 3,000 at appearance, legacy talent. Tommy called him. He says, he's in heat. So Disco goes in. You hear all like the very classic sitcom-y, cartoony, where guy goes in the room. You hear like the rambunctiousness. He comes out. He's got feathers all over him in his mouth and everything. Something right out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. I loved it. And Disco he plays it up so well. He just does not. You gotta love a guy who doesn't mind making fun of himself, man.
And that is why you bring Disco Inferno on your TV show in 2019. Perfect. This is what we have him for.
He's local to Vegas. It's perfect. He can give you that relief. It's awesome.
And I love the appearance of the Anthem Owl on Impact TV.
The thing is, it's like enjoy it. Like now, embrace own that. Own the owl.
Love that owl.
Do you know what's also crazy? Like, it's happening now across a lot of shows. We're in that era where all the guys we grew up with are now agents. Like, and it's like back when we were growing up, like Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, you're like, man, these old guys, and they're just trying to stay around and stuff like that. And it's like all the guys we grew up with are all in that same position.
But I like how Tommy Dreamer shows up and does everything. Like, he'll come and do that, but he'll still work a program and do an angle on your TV show and have a crazy hardcore match.
He's like all purpose, dude. Real quick, something you mentioned about Patterson and Briscoe. I remember reading, like they were like back in the 90s. I was like, these old. I thought they were like old, 70 years old. Dude, they were like 51 years old at the time, and I was like, these old ancient guys. And I'm like, they weren't even that old back then, but they were looked at like these old guys.
Like Arn Anderson, he's 60.
He's 60, dude. He retired at 38. I'm 37.
This is crazy.
In 97, Arn to me was like an old man. I mean, he always did look like an old man, but like he was like an old man. I'm like, oh, that old guy.
Yeah, one of those guys. Like, dude, I as a kid, obviously I was looking back on watching old tape, but when I would see old tapes of Terry Funk and ECW circa like 95, 96, I'm thinking like he's a real old grandpa. He was not that old.
He's 56.
He was that, like we always say. Tommy Dreamer is like Impact's Terry Funk of that time. I like that.
Dude, I remember when Terry Funk was when he was main eventing Barely Legal 97. Like the whole big thing was like 56-year-old Terry Funk. And I'm like, oh my God, he's ancient. He's been around forever.
It was middle-aged and crazy.
I'm like
Not
56.
old-aged, middle-aged.
Dude, that's not even that old.
Now with the internet, everyone's young.
Tommy Dreamer's only 48. You know, it's like shit, man. But no, it was nuts. That was hilarious. After that, we got a little Ace Austin hype. I am psyched. Basil, we know Ace Austin.
Hell yeah.
Another guy I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about Josh Alexander, and I don't know anything about Ace Austin.
Okay, if you want to know a little bit about Ace Austin, find some stuff from MLW if you can, or look up stuff from Revolver or
Rockstar.
Yeah, that would also be a good thing. He is talent, and he has a great little gimmick.
Yeah,
and his entrance is dope. I can't even explain it. Like it's a visual entrance, which is I think is great because it's like a must see type thing. Kyle, I think you're gonna like him.
Yeah, Kyle, I think you're gonna dig Ace Austin, man. He's like Gambit come to life.
Exactly.
Yeah, I caught that. He's holding the card, very Gambit-esque.
He's young. He's getting in young. Impact's gonna be the first one to really give him a break.
Is he like a high-flying cruiserweight style guy? What's his shtick?
Yeah, he's a flyer. He's
definitely a good X Division guy.
He's smooth though. His thing is like he's real smooth. He moves like kind of moves like water, man. Like that. The guy he's good and he's got character. That's the thing. The main thing is I don't care about the moves. The guy he has a character. That's what I get hooked on. Because when I remember Basil, he does that thing with that staff he comes in with, that like he opens it as he rolls in the ring, he opens it and it pops up and he catches it.
So cool? what it is his entrance is, it's like this staff is like this little tiny pod thing.
Yeah.
And then he smashes it down and it expands up all within like half a second. It's dope.
Like a police baton. I've been on the other end of those before, you know?
Yeah, you
police
sure
baton.
Long Island.
Long Island's very own troublemaker, scumbag, son of a bitch, Kyle here. Yeah, dude, it's cool as shit. If they give him a cool little entrance, that'll be fun. He has a presence, and I'm looking forward to him doing this on a bigger scale.
Now I like hearing all that about Ace Austin. I appreciate the insight, fellas. But what do I need to know about Josh Alexander? It's another guy I don't know anything about.
Oh man,
this is All right, this is a dude, right?
So this is a big deal. This is a big signing.
This is a huge signing.
This is probably gonna be their biggest signing of 2019.
Yeah, this is a big get because this is a dude who was killing it, man. Like so he's a former tag team partner with Ethan Page. They had a tag team
Monster Mafia.
Yeah, Monster Mafia. They were real hype, really doing well. Making a lot of buzz. Came to the US, made a lot of buzz. Josh on his own broke out, made a lot of buzz, and then had a really bad neck injury, dude. Like had to retire from the neck injury. They're like, that's it, your career's done. You can't go forward. You got kids and shit. You should not be doing this. Dude legit self-healed himself, worked out. I mean, I'm talking like complete self-rehab, stronger than ever, comes back, fucking murdering it again. I'm talking like double time killing it. This body's best shape ever. And he gets Canadian immigration stops him from coming to the U.S. in the middle of this comeback. And they say they caught him saying, you don't have proper work visa documentation, and they cut him off from coming to the U.S. So dude gets banished to Canada for 5 years. And he was like, I can take this as a negative, but I'm going to take this as a positive, and I'm just going to rebuild the shit out of Canada. And then he starts wrestling for Destiny and Alpha One, and dude just starts killing it in Canada. Like making like Destiny had more buzz the last 2 years than they ever have. Man, it's Josh Alexander at the top of it. And then, dude, yeah, here comes Impact, bringing him in. I mean, he was an AEW guy. That's how we know him. And we were trying to get it. We were trying to do his visa for him, get him back to the U.S. It didn't work out. But, man, this Impact deal is fantastic. This dude is just so fucking good at what he does, Kyle. Like, he is a good character. He can talk. He's a great wrestler. Like, this is a huge get, man. This is a big one.
This is how we mentioned Monster Mafia. because the main event scene right now, way too packed and way too deep right now to input anybody else in. But the tag team division needs a new tag team that's serious.
Huh.
Monster Mafia in the tag team division, build him up to the audience to get to know him, then you split him off, and then you put him in the world title scene.
Dude, yeah. Or you can start them feuding either way. I don't care. Just get them in.
I guess it's safe to say that I am dummy of the week for not knowing about Josh Alexander. I know nothing about the guy. It sounds like I've been sleeping on him. So I guess I am dummy of the week.
Dummy, 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 dummy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Dummy, 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 dummy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Go on the YouTubes and find some Josh Alexander stuff from this past year, and you will be thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, dude. You'll dig it, Kyle. Even though you're a dummy.
And you will no longer be a dummy.
I'm dummy of the week. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Goddamn dummy. You big dummy.
I got to brush up on my indies, fellas.
Yeah, man. Come on. You gotta get in with the backstage boys over here.
It's all about Impact. It's all about the fucking Impact. Fuck your indies. Impact is where it's at. It's the main stage.
All right, here we go. Next, we got a little more background on the Swan and Sammy saga. The Swan Sammy saga, the Triple S here. We basically find out from Sammy that he saved Swan, that his mom died when he was 17. His father was murdered around the same year. And he let Swan stay at his house. He clothed him. He fed him. And he says, Rich, you used me for my house and my money, and now it's time for you to give back. So he's telling Rich,
back everything.
Everything. You owe me. He's basically, what the story is like, you owe me. He goes, but he tied it up with the whole, like, I love you, Rich Swan. I love Rich Swan. So he's trying to say, like, I love him, but he owes me. Now it's time for me to collect. It's kind of like he did in Rich's favor. It's like, now when I need you, I'm calling in my favor. I'm calling it back in. And that's where Rich is torn, because he's like, I owe the guy, but I don't believe in what he does. So it's a good conflict. And these two have great chemistry. I mean, I love that they were showing all these old photos of them. They legit have that history. I mean, the stuff about Rich's past is a shoot. From what I understand, his mom did pass away when he was 17. His father was murdered. So this was there's some, I don't know how much of a shoot the Sammy let him stay with him and stuff is, but I wouldn't doubt it, because they had a lot of old pictures to back it up. So listen, it's compelling storytelling. That's what I like, especially when when one of them, Sammy Callahan, you can't go wrong. The guy is top of the card right now, man. The guy's fantastic. So what do you guys think? I mean, Basil, we love both these guys. Kyle, you interested in seeing where this goes? You got any predictions on this?
You know, I'm really interested in the feud, Trent, Sammy and Rich. I like how they're, using real life in the storyline, pulling up those pictures and stuff like that. But I'm going to be brief on my response, Trent, because we're running pretty late here on the show, and we're not even at the main event yet. We're
getting there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Just 2 more little small backstage segments. We're at the main event. Kross and Moose from the back. They're talking about tagging on Johnny, against Johnny, how he's giving out title shots. They're like, you know what? Once this is done, Johnny's gonna pay, and we're gonna get to the bottom of all this. So that was a little segment in the back. LAX is in the back with Conan. Conan is not happy about all the shit going on, but he takes it away and he says, "I'll handle all this." So Conan's been he's looking a little sketchy lately, but he says, Kyle, you pointed out last week how Conan seemed to kind of give the nod to unmask the Lucha Brothers. So it seemed a little weird, but Conan's very adamant on him handling this communication.
Well,
so
the only thing consistent here is that Conan is shady. No matter what, we are always talking about Conan being shady and sketchy. So I don't know. I'm still paranoid about Conan. I'm still, keeping my eye out,
Yeah, we'll see where Conan lands on this, man. This is going to be interesting. But all right, guys, main event. Here we go. Moose and Killer Kross taking on Johnny and Brian Cage. And what's funny is when I write my notes, I write Johnny Cage. So, little Mortal Kombat reference. Anybody? This thing on? Anybody? No?
Mortal Kombat.
I used to love the guy, that Johnny Cage, the guy who announced the selection. Anyway, all right, guys.
Just the whoop-dee guy that would pop up.
Was it Whoopi?
I don't
Whoopsie.
know. Whoopsie. How about a whoopsie? That was
That's where it
whoopsie.
was. Yeah. All right. Moose comes out with a crazy robe. It looked ridiculous. It was feathers all over. I think Josh or Don said he killed the anthem owl to make that robe or something. 'Cause I think he took.
I missed that. What?
Because it was all feathers or something. Somebody's like, I think he killed the owl to make that
Oh
robe.
my god.
I thought I heard that, man, because they referenced how he took out the owl or something, or to make the robe, because it was all feathers. But this was a total Hoss match. These guys are all big dudes, 6 feet plus, big guys.
Breaking news. I found the name.
What name?
Of the reporter.
Oh, what's his name?
Raphael Morefi.
Well, that's Raphael. That's Raphael, the producer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him playing.
Yeah, that's him. That was him.
I knew he looked familiar. I was like, because I know Raphael. I've talked to Raphael.
Yeah, because I said bye to him at MLW like 2 days ago, and I was like, why does he look so familiar on the show? And then that's him.
I knew his son of a bitch looked familiar. I was like, man, that is so. I've talked to Raphael a few times, so didn't recognize him. I was in the zone, man, that he was Ricardo Rodriguez or whatever he was.
We need to get him on the show. Ricky Ricardo.
Dude, he lives in Brooklyn. I know that for sure. Or Queens. He lives in Queens, Kyle. I remember when we went to Bound for Glory, I talked to him, and he's like, I live 3 blocks away from this venue, from Melrose Ballroom. So, but anyway, all right. This was a huge match. I mean, a lot of back and forth. I mean, Kross takes out Cage with a belt. There's blood everywhere. They work Johnny's arm on this one. Cage basically gets screwed by Johnny again. Kross Doomsday Saitos and cross jackets Brian Cage. And Kross and Moose take the win on this one. This was a lot going on. I mean, everybody hit their finishers. Everybody hit their top moves.
You're leaving out Johnny getting paralyzed, Trent.
I saw, my bad. Yeah, I did. You're right. Johnny did get paralyzed. So I was so kind of all over the place, like watching this match. Break that aspect of it down, Kyle. What happened with Johnny on this one?
I was hoping you were going to break it down.
Because I was kind of watching everything else, because it happened to Johnny on the outside, and he's in the bag. I mean, I know like he got beat down pretty bad. I don't know exactly what the move was that took. I think it was he took the count. He was going for the countdown to Impact, but Kross avoided it, and then Johnny kind of hurt himself.
Well, that's the thing. I was very confused on what exactly sparked his injury. Like, because as soon as he drops down, Kross like has a sick, evil look on his face.
Right. So he was going for his finisher. Kross ducked out of the way, and then he injured himself. So then that's when Cage tagged himself in and went on the attack. So then Johnny's on the outside. Referees are checking on him. Basically, this allowed Kross and Cage to hit him with the belt. I mean, Cage got busted open, and Johnny's on the outside. So basically, Cage gets screwed again by Johnny, because it's going to come up. I know it. Where he's going to be like, you wanted me to tag with you, and then you screw me. You throw me to the wolves, that kind of thing. So Cage held off as much as he could. But, dude, he was no chance. I mean, like, these guys took him out. Taya comes out to check on her husband. Johnny's refusing to go to the back. Taya's there and everything, but it was too much for Cage, man. Kross hits him with the Doomsday Saito slam, and then the spear by Moose. Then the cross jacket, and Cage passed out. That was it. So, guys, this is a lot of story coming out of this one. Because let me run it down, then Basil, I'm going to kick it to you. You have Johnny getting injured on a move he did to himself. So Cage is going to definitely use that and say, you screwed me on this. You got Cage getting beat down after trying to fend off 2 big guys. But Cage going out like a hero. He passed out. Kross doing the cross jacket, winning with that. So Kross looks like $1 million. And Moose was strong throughout the entire match, and then took Kross out with that spear. So everybody had something coming out of it. What do you think is going to be the next stage out of this one? Baz?
I think this is going to lead to a singles match with Johnny and Kross first, and then Cage is gonna feel slighted again.
I think the build is like Cage constantly getting fucked, right? That's the idea. And he's like, what the fuck? I keep doing the right thing and I keep getting fucked here. Like, that's basically what's going on. Am I wrong?
Yep. No, I agree. I mean,
And
I just think is how much longer is this going to keep happening? Because it kind of feels like the same thing over and over again.
Right.
And I kind of want some progression to happen now. Yeah, but I don't know if they're waiting for United We Stand or if they're waiting for Rebellion. I mean, it's kind of like a weird thing. It's like, well, which one's going to be considered?
It's got to be Rebellion.
They have 4 weeks in between, so I mean, there is a set of tapings the weekend after United We Stand. So
there's a lot going on. I mean, that's a busy stretch coming up for them. Kyle, what do you think, man? Where do you see this going? Like, what do you want to see coming out of it? Because everybody had something to come out of this with.
I gotta say, I loved the gruesome image of Brian Cage rocking the Crimson Mask. I hate the idea that, we can't have the Crimson Mask on TV anymore in 2019. I disagree with that. I love the Crimson Mask. Brian Cage rocked it very well. But, see, coming out of this, Trent, I'm still stuck on one thing, and Basil as well. See, I'm used to just talking to Trent here. I have two people to talk to here, Basil and Trent. I'm still stuck on one thing. What do we do with Johnny Impact? That's all I'm thinking. Coming out of this, that's still all my thoughts are. What the fuck do we do with Johnny Impact?
Belt's got to come off.
Does the belt come off of him, or do we keep him heel? I mean, does the belt come off of him, or do we keep the belt on him and turn him heel? What do we do with him?
I think the belt needs to get off of him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things where Johnny's going to become what he didn't want to become. He's going to find himself going down a darker path because he's getting pissy backstage in segments, and basically they're going to all this shit is going to turn Johnny into what he didn't want to be, and he's going to be his own worst enemy. Johnny as his worst enemy is going to cost himself the title. Is what I predict on this.
And somebody made a really good point to me, Trent. With all of the criticism of Johnny Impact, at a certain point, you have to be a little critical of whoever is, behind the scenes and, handling his character because, it's up to, creative to hide his flaws and, not have him, be exposed a certain way. And what has his entire World Championship run been this far? Him just exposing how bad he is on the mic every single week. That's a problem. And a guy like Johnny Impact, he's gotten a lot of good reviews on what he's done in Lucha Underground. I haven't watched any Lucha Underground, but I can guess without even thinking about it, Basil watched Lucha Underground. In fact, I bet Basil watched every single episode of Lucha Underground. Basil, how did he do in Lucha Underground? Do you think Johnny Impact should shift into whatever character he played in Lucha Underground?
Kylie.
Are we still doing this name thing? It's been like 2 hours.
Now I'm slipping back and forth. Now it's not on purpose at this point. I've been trying to call him Basil. Now it's just slipping back and forth.
Well, the Lucha Underground thing, he never was he never had the paranormal character with him personally. His character was very cocky. He had this copycat little sidekick with him. He also ran with PJ Black and stuff like that. Like, they had a whole unit with him and Taya. They were very cocky, arrogant heels that would run roughshod.
But would it work in Impact Wrestling? What I'm trying to ask you is, would it work in Impact Wrestling? Because what he's doing in Impact Wrestling now, what he has been doing for the past 3 months, is not working.
If he has to go full heel. He has to go full heel. Like, the full heel gimmick that he did in Lucha Underground, he has to do it. But it has to work as with other people around him, in my opinion. Him by himself. But then do you make Taya heel as well? It's like there's a lot of little
they're a package deal at this point. I think,
yeah, and then who else?
Killer Kross attacking her solidified that. They are a
and
package
then
deal.
Who else do you attach to Johnny Impact? Because you kind of need to have fodder for him, because he's not going to give himself up to Cage or Kross or Moose.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be interesting. I mean, there's going to be some leveling here, man, with where we go, because I just feel like the Johnny Impact experiment needs to move now. This is a shift. But I see what you said earlier, Basil. Like, when do we do it? Do we stand? Do we wait for rebellion? I mean, there's so much going on that they're just on the brink of. It's like, do you just hold Johnny off until the big show to make it a really big title change and shift, So there's a lot in between. Impact's very busy right now. They're keeping extremely busy with the house shows now and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes, guys. It's going to be very interesting, though. I love that it's hard to predict. I love that part of it, that we are sitting here guessing that where it's going to go. So very cool, guys. This was a great episode. This was the highest watched Twitch episode to date. Very successful Twitch outing. I think they kept everybody hooked all through. It was cool. The numbers kept going up all show.
Right. Streaming is the future. Cool, I believe it. Streaming is the future. I think Impact has something very good going with Twitch. It's just going to be, better and better from here. Great episode, though, fellas. But I'd like to go, around the table here, get a favorite moment of the night from each of you. Me personally, and I'm going to sound like a bit of a sucker because, there was so much great wrestling on this episode. But I got to say, my personal favorite moment of the episode has to be just Disco Inferno backstage interacting with... I'd probably, as great as the Anthem Owl scene was, I loved him backstage in the creative office. That was hysterical. That's my favorite moment of the show.
I'm seconding that one. Actually, I was going to choose that anyway. So I'll do both. I'll include just any disco segment was my favorite. I popped. Too huge for those.
Basil,
what about you?
I'm going to go with the main event on this one.
Great match. Great choice.
I'm a big fan. I mean, Kross and Cage are both my boys, so anytime I get to see them work together is always a treat for me. And I thought the ending was perfect because it didn't make Cage look weak, but it made Kross look strong. So
yeah,
I enjoyed
Everybody came out good on this one in terms of where to go from here. So I think this is definitely a very well set up main event. It's exactly what you want to leave. This is your cliffhanger for next week. So I loved it. Perfect. Guys, great episode, man. I enjoyed it. We had a fun time. I think nice little showdown with you two boys. I mean, it was the fans were waiting for this, and then you two, you started off hot. You kept civil for my sake for the review, but
there had to be a truce. We couldn't have him be a part of the show and just have us go at it like that. If it happens, it's going to happen naturally, but, there had to be a truce. For Trent's sake, there had to be a truce.
For my sake. I mean, come on, guys. For me. You both love me, so you're doing it for me.
Yes, but next week on Impact, though, fellas, we're going to be seeing Rich Swann versus Ethan Page. Another one listed. We got Rascals versus Lucha Brothers. The Dark War is going down. I'm hoping this is going to be some... off-site, extra-produced style footage like they ran at Bound for Glory. And also there's a special announcement from Alicia Edwards. Alicia Edwards has asked for time on Impact Wrestling to make it a big announcement. No further evidence has been listed on Impact.com, so stay tuned for that. Just a quick little preview of what we're going to see next week.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm looking forward to that. It's solid, man. Vegas is looking good. Vegas looking very good. Guys, anything else? Are we missing anything? Kyle, I think you wanted me to do a top 5 this week, too. I think I got that ready to go.
You know what, Trent? I was totally going to skip that, but since you just put it out there like that, you threw it at me. I had a different idea for that, but you know what? We're on the line now. Trent, hit us with the top 5, and then we'll get out of here.
I'm not going to keep our fans for too much longer. We're going long here.
Take us home with the top 5, Trent, and we'll pull the tarp off of the old top 5 jingle bite. We haven't played that in a while.
I'm going to list off the top 5. Yeah. The top 5. Yeah. I'm going to give you the countdown like Casey Kasem, everybody. Yeah. The top 5. Yeah. The top 5.
Here we go. So Kyle asked me, guys, you guys do a top 5 Impact Wrestling moments from 2018.
Whoopsie asked for us to bring back the top 5.
Bring it back, yeah. But you told me.
What I want to do, though, Trent, we're going to be uploading this on the Impact Lounge as its own solo upload. I think it'll bring in a lot of views. I think people like the top 5.
All right, well, I'm going to throw this at you guys. Give me some opinions if you want. Chime in on this one. So here, I came up with an interesting top 5 moments of 2018 for Impact Wrestling.
And by the way, Loungers, send us your top 5. We will take top 5. Submit your top 5 to us over at wetalkimpact@gmail.com.
All right, so here we go. So my number 5 was the Aries walkout at Bound for Glory. I think that was a huge moment. It was not a great moment, but it showed it was when Impact had to shift thinking and say, you know what, we're not gonna let this. I like that it showed resilience on Impact's part because a lot of bad vibe came out of that, but they still put on a great show, and I like that they did not sell it. And they said, you know what, we're not gonna let this bring down all the work we just did. So I thought it showed a great resilience on Impact's part. It showed them looking strong, united together, and moving forward as a company. So I thought the Aries walkout was a blessing in disguise to really unite the roster even more. After that, number 4, I'm going to say the partner shows. All the related partner shows that started in 2018 were huge in fan rapport rebuilding, rebuilding reputation with partner companies, independents. I thought it's been wonderful. I mean, they've created great partnerships with Rockstar Pro and Revolver and you name it, OVW. A lot of talent coming out of these, so it's become a great thing for Impact Wrestling to rebuild its presence on a house show type market. At the same time, building rapport. Number 3, I thought the Slammiversary pay-per-view was a huge moment in 2018. Basil, you were at my place to watch this one. We had a good time watching this. This was fun. Kyle, it still bothers me that we missed the review on this one, and we did not. This is early in our podcasting run, but we missed reviewing this one for our feed, man.
You can go back and do it. You can do your own review for the people. You can do a flashback review if you'd like.
I might do a flashback.
Get your podcast rocks off.
Yeah, I kind of want to fit that in there. You know, maybe backdate it or something. You know, act like it was there the whole time. But Slammiversary was a perfect show. It was one of those shows where nobody, even the worst Impact critics, couldn't dog it. And I thought this was the show that set the tone for the new regime, and it said this is what the company's doing now, and this is what we're going. And it was a great show to really show an arrival of that new mindset of the company. So Slammiversary 2018 was great.
I haven't seen a match better than Sammy versus Penta since.
Beautiful.
I haven't seen a better match since.
Basil, we've seen that one several times, but man, it never gets old, right? Never gets old.
Yeah, I mean, that match was fantastic. I personally think, was it United We Stand? Oh, the AEW's United We Stand. 2017 they had that match.
Yeah, I missed that.
That was crazy. And I think that one might have been a little bit more violent than the Slammiversary match because there were spikes and stuff.
How dare you? How dare you come on our Impact review and put over your AAW match on our top 5? I have no problem. No. I have no problem with you guys talking about AAW here and there. But how dare you come on our top 5 and disrespect the all-time great Slammiversary match in favor for your dinky indie show match?
Oh, Kyle.
Oh wait! Is the bias over? Wait,
this is an Impact podcast.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a pro podcast for a certain company.
I'm sure the match was great. I just can't imagine that it was better than the Slammiversary match. How could it be?
How about you?
There was a railroad spike.
How about we give you the AAW login, and you watch the match yourself, and then you make the decision.
That's a hell of a deal, Kyle. That's a $9.99 or $8.99 login monthly. You can get it for, according to Basil, free $99. He's offering it to you.
I'm
Not bad.
I'm offering the
I like
olive
that.
branch here, Kylie.
Free wrestling. I got no problem with that. Free is for me. We'll talk about that off air. But Trent, continue. Continue.
All right, number one, guys, and this is interesting. I'm gonna justify with a little explanation. The number one important moment of 2018 to me was the Del Rio Pel Patron fiasco that happened WrestleMania weekend, and I'll tell you why. I looked at that as it was. Oh no, sorry. Oh shit, I missed.
You're really picking some winners here.
I am. No, I missed one. I missed one here. Damn, that was my number one. I gave that up. Shit, my number two.
Idiot.
See, you guys threw me off with this bullshit, man. This fighting throws me off. My number two was going to be the Abyss Hall of Fame entry, and I said, the reason because of that one, it was the final bow on TNA to me. That was the final, especially with him leaving soon after.
Look at that. Your special heartfelt one you messed up on. Good for you, Trent.
Your fighting throws me off, you two. Jesus. But no, Abyss, it was like that was to me that felt like the goodbye to TNA. That was like we're putting TNA into the Hall of Fame and saying, here you go. It's thank you. And Abyss there's nobody better than Abyss to signify all that. So very important moment to see that kind of, settled for once after all. But yeah, now number one was the Del Rio / El Patron fiasco, because I looked at that as it was shedding off, because he was brought in by that Jarrett regime that came in for a little bit, and it was shedding that and saying, you know what? I love how they made chicken salad out of chicken shit. When he no-showed that show, and the three-way that came out of it with Penta, Phoenix, and Austin Aries, which was fantastic, which also led to redemption, set the tone for the entire year for 2018 for everything else we saw, because it was like, you know what? Screw all this old shit. Screw this old thinking that these guys did and these old dogs these guys would bring in. We're not doing that anymore. We're going with our gut instinct, and our gut instinct is to push these young guys, this fresh look that we want to give Impact Wrestling, and that was the catalyst, because it was just going to be a Patron versus Aries again, same old type of shit, and then it went from Patron to Penta, Phoenix, and Aries, and that led to Penta winning the title, Penta and Sammy feud, Phoenix on fire, Aries having a great fire year until his whole thing happened. It was the shift in the company that we needed to go old thinking, new thinking, boom, we're setting the tone. So that's my top 5 moments of 2018, guys. With reason. But anyway, let's go ahead and put a ball on this, guys. We've been on this show for a long time. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us, putting up with the fighting. Basil, let's get you plugged up. Tell people where they can find you, where we can see you next. Go for all your plugs, man. You got a lot of shit to plug. Go for it.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BZ.
Hey, fuck you, man!
That is why you don't mess with the guy who uploads the show. I have the final say, the final copy of the audio. I will cut your plugs out as if they never happened, Basil.